Alright, October 28th game plan. I'll keep it really brief. If we open immediately push bullish, I'm not trading. If we open immediately drive bearish, then I'll be looking for buys. Technically the middle time frame, like it looks a little tricky, but technically speaking, say it starts around 5 hours ago or so, it's really this type 3 shift here. So I'd like a pullback to a natural area of adherence with the middle time frame, somewhere in there. If that occurs, then I'll probably take buys off an appropriate reaction. If not, I don't really care. I'm tired as fuck. I probably shouldn't even be trading right now. So if it doesn't just set up exactly how I want it, then pretty unfavorable movement so far. Technically speaking, on the 1 minute we do have this type 3 shift, but it's super high. 15 minute just opened, pretty much immediately drove bearish. We're below 50% of this move. I could see people getting caught out by this, but I just feel like I've lost trades like this before. I'm simply not going to take it. I don't like it. Shit relativity, and the selling volume is really coming in. Alright, so in case anyone takes this and loses, I'm just going to go over why I really don't like it really quickly. First off, what's good about it? Not really much. If you're trading that, you're probably just looking for patterns and you aren't zooming out and seeing the bigger picture. The main issue I see with it is the poor relativity across multiple different time frames. Let's break this down. We're already quite extended into the high time frame, right? The high time frame is bearish. We're already quite extended bullishly, so pretty poor high time frame relativity. Now, let's take a look at the high middle time frame, which we'll consider this trend. It is right at a point where naturally you'd expect a pullback. Why are you trading at the very top of it? Just because you see a little 1 minute structure shift that already fills the move down. The move down's already filled. It's not like you're trading in anything low time frame wise either. Okay, I kind of skipped ahead there, but shit relativity high middle time frame wise, shit relativity high time frame wise, and as for the middle time frame, I kind of already explained this when I stated what I was looking for initially. Actually, let's get rid of some lines just to make this less complicated. Considering this the middle time frame, once again, shit relativity. If you want to take a trade that's natural with the middle time frame, you'd be looking for a pullback somewhere in here. Yeah, that's why I just see that as a pretty shit entry. And who knows, I might be biting my tongue or whatever the fuck the saying is in a second here. Actually, no, I won't be, regardless of the outcome of this price action. I don't think it's a good entry. But alright, just one more information point that I forgot to mention that goes against this entry is also DXY's relativity and DXY's expectancy. We had just touched up at the bottom of a pretty high time frame range, and we're pushing bullish. You have that expectancy to push bullish on the lower middle time frame after touching the bottom of that range. So all of those relativities stack together, plus the fact that the move is just filled on the low time frame as well, just didn't make sense. It's the next day, October 28th, Asia session recap. Now, I pretty much went over it last night, but now we can kind of see what happened. As you can see, the trade did play out. Maybe I got off a little early, but I was tired as fuck, and that's almost 12 a.m. for me, so it's whatever. Now, the one thing I do want to add to this recap is why I wasn't comfortable taking sells here, but last night we were in a very, very seemingly similar situation, and I took sells. Obviously, that's not what it was looking like, but yeah, I took sells here. I did not feel comfortable taking sells here. Now, why is that? It mainly comes down to the middle time frame and the high middle time frame, and honestly the high time frame trajectory as well. So I guess it comes down to a bit of everything and just synergizing that information. Start from the top, start from the high time frame here. Now, as for this entry, high time frame trending bearish. As for this entry, high time frame trending bearish. But in this scenario, if you go ahead and watch the trade from last night, I said I wasn't comfortable holding it too long because we sort of hinted at breaking high time frame trajectory. And the reason I said that is because this is kind of our high time frames context or character right here. And we pulled down, rejected that extremity, and then came up once again and kind of broke through 50% of this move down, which we hadn't been doing. So it's just out of character for that to occur. And when something out of character for the high time frame occurs, or I guess any time frame for that matter, that's kind of when you look for something to continue against it. So I was a little bit apprehensive in holding that, but I did take the trade because in this situation, now we're getting down to high middle time frame and middle time frame analysis. In this situation, high middle time frame was rangy and we were overextended relative to that high middle time frame. Middle time frame was also rangy. We were overextended relative to that middle time frame. So stacking those two overextensions and the fact that this isn't overwhelmingly out of character for the high time frame, right? Nothing crazy, but mainly because the high middle time frame and the middle time frame weren't like, it's not like the structure was aggressively bullish or anything. It was very, very range bound. So if we overextend out of that in the, an area high up within the high time frame, which is trending bearish, then I see a sell as really high probability. Now compare that to last night. It would have been right here. This is where the sell would have been. The high middle time frame is simply just actively trending bullish, whereas it was range bound here. We were overextended out of it. It's actively trending bullish here. Yes, it is at a point where you would naturally expect a pullback, but it's not like we're overextended relative to it. We're simply at an area where you could expect it to pull back. And exact same thing with the middle time frame. Middle time frame is bullish here, right? We pull down, get this strong buying pressure, type 3 shift. And yeah, we're at a point where you could expect to pull back, but the high middle time frame and the middle time frame structures are both bullish here, whereas here they were range bound. We were disproportionately pulled out of them. Here, we're just kind of moving naturally within them. I just want to wait for a pullback and trade with them, especially where here high time frame trajectory was like kind of just more violated than last night, in my opinion. Right, we have our impulse down, totally normal. Pullback, reject that, and we're just a lot steeper here. Like, this is an abnormality within the high time frames context. You simply can't deny that. That's not hindsight, that's just analytical, and that's why I'm leaving all of the analyses that I made last night in this recap, because I want to show you that like it's not always hindsight. So yeah, I didn't feel comfortable taking sells here. Do I think they were like super low probability? No, I think it looked like really good on the low time frame. really good on the low time frame. There's a really nice tick reaction actually around 946, I think. Let's see where it was. It was somewhere in here. It was a nice reaction, but just the fact that the higher time frames weren't playing out, and that I know simply from watching the market that once our high time frame context is violated, even though technically high time frame structure isn't broken, once the context changes or the trajectory becomes abnormal, we get an abnormal movement relative to how we've been moving. Oftentimes the overall result, the highest probability expectancy in my opinion, is for us to maybe we'll get a pullback, but overall the move is actually going to be, we're likely shifting against the high time frame within the next little while, the next middle time frame wise, something of that sort. And why do I feel comfortable making that assumption? As I said, I've just seen it happen time and time again. It's something I've kind of been monitoring, sort of consciously, sort of unconsciously. I have sessions journaled where this occurs, so that's why I was only looking for buys tonight or last night, and they ended up, would have worked out, didn't take them, but there's an abundance of entries like this. I feel like market conditions where time frames are all misaligned and shit, like tonight, like last night, are very common, so you'll get entries like this a lot. It is what it is, and honestly, whether this continued bullish or whether this was the result and then we push bearish, I wouldn't have cared. I'm trading the probability. Oh man, losing my voice. I'm trading the probability that this reaction off 50% will occur. I'm trading the probability that that reaction will occur, and we'll retrace that move a little bit. And I'm using all of these other time frames and bits of information to assess whether that reaction is high probability. I thought it was, so that's why I wanted to take that trade. But whether it continues, I couldn't care less.